thank you so much for joining us. And my name is Annie Bond, and I'm the author of the new book, Awakening Prana, 9 Steps to Regenerative Self-Transformation. And I'm joined by a few special guests. They're students of mine or people that have been to retreats that I've led or both. And I'm so happy to have them here, and we will be having a discussion after the sound healing. And tonight's show is about being cradled in our energy body. And the focus is on the torus. And I want to show you the image of the torus so that you can see the, this is step 8, actually, in the 9 steps in the Awakening Prana book. But you can see that toroidal energy body around us that is, it's a very, very powerful dynamic. And to understand the torus is to see our energy body as a dynamic and interconnected whole. And it's really in flow. And the torus represents the flow through the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of ourselves. And so it not only, you can see it almost as a boundary, as a protective shield around us, but it's also a fundamental aspect to the health of our energy body. And if it's not working very well, you can see that if the torus is weak, less source energy reaches you, and the lower vibration density just like dims our vitality, and it becomes a very significant handicap. So the key point is really that in order to bring source energy to us, and the source energy carrying our consciousness also, we want to have our toroidal energy body in full flow. And we have this really beautiful sound healing that I'm going to start. And the sound healing will help you build your toroidal energy body. And the last bit of it, I'm going to be leading a guided meditation. But be aware, it's an unusual sound healing in that there are these breaks in the middle and in between different sections, and just be patient or receive, because they will, the sound will come back. The sound healing is part of the breaks are part of the sound healing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So here, just take a few deep breaths, get yourself really comfortable. And the key with this kind of sound healing is just to open yourself to be receiving of it. I tune into a feeling of love in my heart chakra. I feel its resonance. I ask my loving infinite soul to bathe my Torus in self-love. I ask my higher self to bathe my Torus in unconditional love. I feel my Torus flow around me. I ask the Supreme Being to vacuum out any low vibration density that has not yet been released and take it to the sun to be purified. I ask the sacred element air to flow all along the currents of my Torus, helping the energy to flow. I feel the flow of the Torus move around my back, into my spine, to all that is about me. I ask Source to remove any resistance I may have to this flow. I ask the sacred element ether to bathe my Torus in eternal love. And I tune into a feeling of love in my heart chakra, and I feel that resonance. And take a few deep breaths and integrate the sound healing that we just experienced. It is called the 7 Keys of Awakening Prana, and it's on YouTube. And I urge you to listen to the long version too. It's one of my all-time favorite sound healings, and so I'd love to hear from the group and how everybody feels having done the healing and the meditation. Anybody have any experience with that?
It was helpful to me, Annie, when you started giving guidance. I wasn't quite sure what I should be thinking about or aiming my thoughts. So I was basically doing what you were suggesting. I was feeling the energy coming from the earth and feeling the toroidal shape. And so, but that idea of perceiving love around me like that was a good guidance for me. Thanks.
You know, the guidance I receive about the Torus is that it's all about self-love, and that if we're weak in self-love, our Torus doesn't flow strongly. And it's sort of beautiful to think about the idea of our Torus as this huge protection, and that in fact self-love is our biggest protection. and it's not an easy thing to learn how to do, but it's sort of a nice concept, I think. So.
It was lovely. I was tingling from my feet up to my third chakra. It was just what I needed.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, she's moving. Carol's moving in, and that's certainly an ungrounding time. So that's great that helped. I'm really happy to hear. That's good.
Yeah, tingly was actually the word I was going to use too, because I got that a lot in the first part. It was I liked the breaks in between.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool. Some people get jarred by that. So
I don't know. It was nice. I feel it's very even, peaceful, balanced. It was very nice.
That's really the even and peaceful and balanced, I think, is a great way to describe how I often feel with the 7 keys of it's like it organizes your structure, your energy body structure or something, and puts it in place.
Yeah, that's why I could feel it in different areas of my body, and then like my energetic body. I don't know. It was really nice. I'll definitely be listening to it again.
Wonderful. That's great.
For me, it was almost the fastest I've ever dropped into that place of peace and balance in a meditation. It was just, and at the very beginning, I felt sort of a pulsing, maybe in the pranic tube or in the sort of torso area. But yeah, it was just incredibly relaxing and peaceful. Yeah.
God, that is so wonderful. And it is very relaxing. And yeah, I could see that feeling of dropping in being, it is, yeah, it's a really special sound healing. No question. I'm so glad you experienced that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like being able to drop away from the noise of the day and the, stresses you encounter, and then just instantly going to that really wonderful place. And I love the breaks because I love the birds. I love the sound of the birds. It's just, to me, that puts me in my heart center instantly. Birds. So yeah, I love that.
That's true. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, it's for people that have insomnia, it's a fantastic thing to listen to before going to sleep. If they're having trouble going to sleep, just to listen to that, it could really bring one into coherence, kind of. And as one of you said, the busyness of the day falls away, or you said that, Sid. Yeah. So great.
I think it's interesting that Sid said pulsing, because that was my feeling also. And I was like, oh my God, everybody else is feeling tingling. And I'm feeling like this pulsing sensation, almost like feeling your heartbeat throughout your entire body. As you know, how sometimes you feel it in your chest, but it's like I felt it everywhere. And I've listened to this thing so many times, and I found myself noticing sounds in it that I had not noticed before.
Fun.
I didn't have any idea what to make of that. I just found it interesting. I was like, oh, really? That's new. And I know it's not. But it was just in the beginning, my heart was racing. And then I just got really calm. And every once in a while, I'd have to take this really big, deep breath. Just would be kind of overcome by the need for a big, deep breath. But it was nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. The hearing it differently, I wonder if it's the power of the group, that we're 8 people, the strong energy and holding that we can, even though it's Zoom, we can pick it up from each other, right? And feel that, I think that might be that we all got to a little bit of a higher vibration listening to it than we might have when we listen to it on our own.
Yeah, I wondered if that played a role in it, because I couldn't think of anything else that would necessarily be different.
Yeah, that's so beautiful to think of us all holding it up, kind of like that. So.
Yeah.
Well, I initially, I'm not sure if I felt activity in my solar plexus. It's like I feel like the energy was clearing something out in there. And then I felt my Torus growing stronger. And I felt this sense of calmness like everyone is describing, but it kind of moved into like this joyful feeling, and I think it may be feeding off the energy because, and this is going to sound really silly, but I had like this vision of all of us with our big strong Tauruses moving, and then I kind of had this picture of, like we're bumping off of each other, like
bumper cars.
yeah. So but I guess, I mean, that's just the love interlacing, really, isn't it? I mean, you
Beautiful.
You wouldn't bounce off each other; it just overlays. But I obviously I feel a little silly now, and I do have a question for you, Annie.
Let me just insert that I think that this is, we're experiencing a group healing is what it sounds like, because many of you are picking up things that are elevated in a different kind of way than if you're just listening to yourself. So that's sort of, go ahead.
How, I know you receive these sound healings in downloads, but can you describe to us how you're receiving it? Are you hearing it, and then when you have Nick reproduce it, you're just you're saying, here's what I heard, wah wah, and then I hear birds and or do you know what I'm saying?
I do, and for those who are new to this work, I channel from a being I call Stone Man, and he teaches me. He's taught me really everything that's in this book in Awakening Prana. You can see this incredible information, the energy body, and he's a Hathors. He's a being who the Hathors tend to be sound healers, and incredible brilliance about the energy body. And I type. And I talk to Stoneman and I type what I hear. He gives me the hertz, HC. It's so fast you wouldn't even believe it, but boom, 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 boom. And I get it. It's that fast. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, did I get it right? Oh Lord. And I go back and is this right? And I'll start playing around with the tones, and then I'll go back. Is it right? Is it right? And it's always the same. It comes in just like that. Boom, 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 boom. And then I give the hertz to Nick, who is Nick Ranieri, and he's also one of the Awakening Prana Healer School students. And he goes into our healer protocol, and he's a healer, sound healer, and he spends just an enormous amount of time being true to the sounds needed, and he just does an exquisite job, and it's his credit for the birds and everything, but it was Stone Man who said we needed the breaks. So but I mean, like this, it probably took him 24 hours or something to do the sound healing, this particular one. I mean, he really he just tunes in and tunes in and tunes in. So he's channeling from Stone Man too to put it together, I think. It's a really fascinating process, and I can't tell you how fast it comes in for me, and to the point where I'm like, oh Lord, is this right? I don't know. I hope so. So,
Annie, it was a lovely experience, and I am so grateful for the gaps.
Oh,
because
I'm so happy to hear that.
I felt just this lovely energy during the sound, but during the gaps, it was this just big, expansive space, and it felt lovely, so much loveliness that I didn't want to come back.
Yeah, I know. This is a beautiful one, and there's the 45-minute version one that's on YouTube, and I highly recommend that. That's my go-to also, because I never want to come back after having been in with this particular sound healing. And so, I just want to say again, to tune into the feeling of love in your heart chakra, to like come into heart coherence when you're listening to this and feel the resonance of that heart coherence. And then you ask your loving infinite soul to bathe your Taurus in self-love. Then you ask your higher self to bathe your Taurus in unconditional love. And so you start feeling the flow of the Taurus around you. So it's a real communication on a soul level and a higher self level to your consciousness coming into your physicality to bring you balance. And it's just a wonderful thing that way. One of the things that happens to me when my Taurus starts flowing better and more strongly as it does with this sound healing, is I feel an enormous amount of healing in my spine. It's like we carry so much trauma in our spine, and I always feel the sense of the toroidal energy body going around and coming into my spine and bringing light into my spine. So it feels like a really significant change to my physical body that way, which is, so I don't know, it's just something that keeps happening to me with it. So that's good. It is a very serene feeling, isn't it? I mean, even those that you got the buzzy feelings or whatever it is, we're all feeling serene, I think, right? How about you, Jim? Do you feel serene?
It's a very peaceful meditation. Absolutely. Yeah, very nice.
Good. Even though you took a while to get settled with it, the result is you now feel serene. So.
Well, I think I just wasn't sure if I was doing it right. You know, that idea you're saying of just sort of tuning into the love. That's what.
Tuning into the love. That's it. I think it's really, that's exactly right. Tuning into the love. So, I mean, how beautiful is that, right? Does anybody have anything else they'd like to comment about it or express about their feelings from it?
Annie, I have a question.
Sure.
In the book, I noticed there's a QR code for the step 8. There's the meditation and the sound healing. And then there's another QR code, yes, on the next page for crystals. And tell us about that.
I have worked with a healer friend of mine with crystals, and we've also channeled in the crystals that help us also to come into alignment. And it was also channeled from a Hathor. And we've just been so gifted with this. And the crystals are for you to, it's a pouch that you could carry that will help you come into alignment too. You know, just crystals are a vibration also, just like sound healing. So you can wear the crystals in the pouch that are there that would have a similar effect that the sound healing we just had. So
that too is vibrational then.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I mean, I love like this wearing some pouch of these crystals sometimes. Like there's one that's for self-love. There's a QR code for that also, and that is just it's a wonderful, you know, if for many of us it's hard to feel self-love because we are been trained to be hard on ourselves or we haven't been raised with learning how to give ourselves self-love. So it helps to carry. Sometimes I'll just carry that pouch, wear it, and it just helps me overcome my own lower vibration issues like that, you know.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. But it's, you know, the QR codes for this meditation are right in this section of the book, which is so cool. So you can, the meditation that I read is in the book, and then the QR codes, there we go. The QR codes, you could go to straight to the sound healing straight from the book, which is sort of cool. So nice. Well, I thank everybody so much for joining me, and you're just a beautiful group, and people have been this is a group who just take such high integrity in working on their own spiritual growth, that it's been always a privilege and an honor to work with each of you. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. So good night.